Welcome to today's session of Aifer Final Lab. I hope I'm audible and I think you can see me properly. Please tell me whether the slide is visible and am I audible properly? Okay, thank you, Hannah. Okay. So I think we are in a small crisis situation that our examination is continuously being postponed. But still, I just want to tell you that stick on with your preparation, continue with it, and be patient until the correct date of the exam will arrive. Okay. First of all, I will just introduce myself. My name is Vismaya. I am a JRF holder in psychology in the previous year UGC NET examination. Okay, so that's it. Then today we are going to deal with research aptitude, and I want to just know that how is this area of research aptitude for you? Somebody please tell me, how is this area for you? Research aptitude of paper 1. Is this easy, difficult, or moderate? Okay, anyway, I think that research aptitude is a comparatively, okay, interesting, okay. I think this area is comparatively easy. Although there are certain concepts that we need to understand clearly, if the concepts are clear, this area will be easy for you. While comparing the research methodology of psychology and research aptitude of paper 1, I think paper 1 is much more easier than that of paper 2. Anyway, we will just see what are the major points or areas that are important for paper 1 of UGC NET examination. So first of all, let me ask you, what is meant by aptitude? Have you heard this term aptitude anywhere? I think most of you might have heard the term aptitude. Generally, after the completion of your higher secondary education, you might have met with certain aptitude tests, right? Okay. This aptitude is nothing but the sum total of our skill as well as our interest. That is how skilled we are in a particular area and how interested we are in that area. Okay, so it's the summation of skill as well as interest. Now, in the case of research aptitude, what does research aptitude mean? The skill and the interest that you have in the area of research related to your particular subject. Okay, so that is the meaning of research aptitude. In UGC NET examination, they are trying to measure this, how skilled you are and whether you are interested in this research area or not. Okay, now I'll just show you the syllabus of paper 1 of our research aptitude. So this is the syllabus. We have areas like research, its meaning, types, characteristics, positivism and post-positivistic approaches to research. Then we have methods of research like experimental, descriptive, historic, qualitative and quantitative methods. Next, we have the steps or the process of research, thesis and article writing, application of ICT in research and research ethics. Today in this session, we are going to deal with the steps of research or the process of research. Under that, we have sampling also, which we will go in detail. Okay, so we are going to talk about this area. So, what is meant by research? We all must we all must have done certain researches during our UG time, during our PG time, MPhil or PhD time. What is meant by research? The term itself gives the definition of research, that is research. And on what basis we are going to do this research? This research will be based on your area of interest. So based on your interested area, we will choose a research topic. Okay. In research, we are going to find out a new knowledge, something creative. For whom? To the society. To the society, we are going to invent or we are going to create something new for the society. So that is the meaning of the research. Now, coming to the steps or the process of research. Research involves the following steps, such as first one is the formulation of the research problem. Second one is the review of literature. Then the development of hypothesis, design the research, sampling, data collection, data analysis or hypothesis testing. Okay, so these are the steps of research. In an examination aspect, the order is very important. So keep in mind, there is nothing to by heart. This is a process and it's important to know the sequential order of these steps. Okay, now we will see each and every step in detail. The first one is the formulation of the research problem. What is a research problem? It's a research question. Okay, the researcher will have a question or a doubtful area in a particular topic of his or her subject. As I told you earlier, the problem will be based on the researcher's area of interest. Okay, without any interest in any particular area, the research work will not be successful or it might not be enticing. Okay, so under a research problem, we will be having a research question or our area of concern. Okay, or it might be an area where any improvement is needed. From where do we get these research problems? See, we will get these research problems from various sources such as from published articles, from our personal life experiences, with the discussions in our peer group, as well as from various news, from television, social media, etc. Okay, so these are the sources of a research problem. I think it's clear about the formulation of the research problem in research. Now, I will just tell you a research problem, which is my own research topic during my post-graduation time. My research question was like this, that is, what is the psychoanalytical side of the film Peranbu? Peranbu is a Malayalam and Tamil film, and psychoanalysis is a concept in psychology. My field is psychology. So I was interested to study what is the psychoanalytical side of the film Peranbu. It's a very interesting film of a girl who had cerebral palsy. And this was my research question, one of my research questions. Then another one was, how does our sleep quality influence the mental health of college students? What is the relationship between sleep quality and mental health? So you can consider these two as examples of research problems. Okay, so I think it's clear. Next one is review of literature or the literature review. You will be familiar with this term, and there is nothing to by heart in it in an aspect of examination. A literature review is nothing but the previously existing studies in the particular area that you are going to research. So while you are once you choose your area of interest, it's very important to look for the previously existing studies in that area. Okay. Generally, we include 15 to 20 reviews in a particular research topic. Okay. So these reviews are the summaries of those studies, and it should be in brief. Okay. So this is the meaning of literature review in research. Once the literature reviews are also ready, next we will be going through the hypothesis, development of a hypothesis. What is meant by hypothesis? Hypothesis is a tentative statement. It's called as a tentative statement or an assumed result of the study or the probable outcome of the study. It can be called as anything. It might be a tentative statement, a probable assumed result of the study, that what is we are expecting from the study. Okay, so that is the meaning of hypothesis. Then we can categorize hypothesis, the types of hypothesis into two, such as directional versus non-directional hypothesis and null versus alternative hypothesis. Then we will tell the examples of hypothesis also. So what is meant by directional versus non-directional hypothesis? See, directional hypothesis means we can predict the direction of the result. It shows the relationship between two variables. It's also called as one-tailed hypothesis. We generally describe it with tails, such as, I will tell you an example. We can consider that girls perform better than boys. We know that girls perform better than boys means it's a positive relationship. Okay. So here we have the direction. So it is called directional hypothesis or one-tailed hypothesis. Next, we have the non-directional hypothesis. As the name suggests, this type of hypothesis will not tell about any direction. It's also called two-tailed hypothesis. For example, girls and boys are different in terms of helpfulness. Here we are not telling that who is better than someone or whose performance or helpfulness is more than the other one or not. We are just telling that there is difference in the helpfulness behavior. So this is also called a two-tailed hypothesis and will not give any direction regarding the research. Okay, I will show you an example. This is an example of directional hypothesis. We know that Boost is an energy drink. While we take Boost, our energy is tend to be increased. So what type of hypothesis is this? While we take Boost, energy is tend to be increased. Means what? Energy increases. Means it's a directional hypothesis that Boost increases energy. It shows a direction. It shows an increment. Okay. Next, we have the non-directional hypothesis. As I told you, there will be no direction. If the sentence is like this, that Boost alters energy, we are not telling that Boost increases or decreases energy. It just alters the energy state. So this is a non-directional hypothesis. Okay. So I think the directional and non-directional hypothesis is clear for you. Then we have another classification, that is the null versus alternative hypothesis. We will go to that. Now, what is meant by this null and alternative hypothesis? As the name suggests, null means nothing or zero. There is no relationship between the variables. There will always be a no in the null hypothesis. For example, there is no difference between boys and girls in IQ level. That is, or we will call it as there is no significant difference between the IQ levels of boys and girls. Okay, so this is a null hypothesis which states that there is zero relationship between two variables in the study. Then now what is alternative hypothesis? Alternative hypothesis is the opposite of null hypothesis, that we will tell there is relationship between two variables. Like are differences. Boys and girls are different in their empathy, because we are telling here that there is a relationship between two variables. So this null and alternative hypothesis we use during the hypothesis testing process. So there is nothing. Null means no relationship and alternative means there is relationship between variables. So that's all about the types of hypothesis in research. The next step in research is the research design. What do you mean by a research design? Suppose we are going to build a new house. What will be the first step? We will first draw a plan, supposed plan of our house. How many rooms should be there? What is the measurement of each and every room? Where is the position of the kitchen? How many bathrooms should be there and whether it is attached or separate, etc. Like that, when we are doing a research also, we will be having certain plan. The plan or the design of the research can be called as a blueprint of a research, the initial stage of research. It includes steps like the research methods, what methods we are going to use, the sampling design, what are the sampling techniques that we are going to use, what are the data collection tools that we are going to use, and the statistical techniques that we will be using. Also, whether there is any financial or fellowship-based necessities that we want. While building a house, also we will consider our financial constraints also. So that's also a part of developing a research design. Okay. So research design is the blueprint of the research process. It includes all these points. It's just like we are drawing the plan of a house before building it. Okay. So that's all about research design. Now we are going to the next stage of research, that is sampling. As I told you, we will go in detail about sampling. Before going to that area, I request all of you to subscribe our YouTube channel, Aifer Education. There will be many useful videos which will definitely benefit your preparation for UGC NET examination. Okay, so please subscribe our channel. Now we are going to sampling. What is sampling? I know you will be familiar with sampling. Suppose we are going to conduct a research. We are going to test an average intelligence in 10,000 students of a school. Okay, we are going to study what is the average intelligence of 10,000 students of a school. Now, is it practically possible for us to give the intelligence test for all these 10,000 students? I think not. So in that case, what we will do? We will choose 100 or 200 or 1,000 students. That's based on our convenience. We will choose a small group of students from that 10,000 students. So this process is called sampling. That is, choosing representative members from a population in order to conduct a research. Why do we do so? It's to get the representative members as well as to avoid the bias in our research. Okay, so that sampling from the population, we are choosing a particular number of, we are picking a small number of students for our study. So that is the meaning of sampling. Now, we have different sampling methods in our research. It can be categorized into two types, such as probability sampling and non-probability sampling. See, under probability sampling, we have simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, as well as cluster sampling. In non-probability sampling, we have convenient sampling, purposive sampling, quota sampling, and snowball sampling. Now, what is this probability sampling? What is probability? Probability sampling means that each and every members of the population have equal chance of being selected. That is the meaning of probability sampling. That is, each and every members of the population have equal chance of being selected. That we are not biased. We are not deliberately choosing anybody. we are randomly choosing it. It's a random selection. Now, what are the subtypes of this probability sampling? As I told you, there is simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified and cluster sampling. See, this sampling is very important area. There will be at least one question from this area, surely for in case of all the examination, all the rounds of examination of UGC NET. So do not skip this area. This is simple. If you understand the concept, it's very simple, but do not lose your 2 or 4 marks from this area. So understand the difference between all these types of sampling very well. I will tell you about simple random sampling. As the name suggests, it's simple. It's simple random sampling. Under that, we will be having a population and we will make a blind random selection. That's simple random sampling. It's simple. Like examples includes tossing a coin, throwing a dice, and lottery method. While we toss a coin like this, there is only 2 chances, such as whether it will be a head or it will be a tail. So the probability of getting a head or a tail is 1/2. Like that, when we throw a dice, each and all the 6 sides of the dice have equal probability to be the upper one. Okay. So simple random sampling is that we randomly, blindly choose certain members from a population, and examples includes tossing a coin and throwing a dice. And also lottery method. In lottery method, also we are choosing a blind selection. Okay. So I think simple random sampling is clear. Nothing is complicated in that. Now we have the next one, that is systematic random sampling. It's also a probability sampling. Each and every members of the population has equal chance of being selected. Okay. Now what is systematic sampling? In systematic sampling, we must remember the term that nth. Every nth member of the population is selected. And where will we start it? From whom we will start? Any member. That is the interest of the researcher. We can start from any member. It might be the second person. It might be third, fourth, or fifth. That is the choice of the researcher. Okay. How we will get this value of n? Suppose we are conducting a research in 300 students and we want a sample of 100 students. We are conducting the research in a population of 300 students and we want a sample of 100. We will denote the sample size by small n and the population size by the capital N. So the sampling interval, how do we determine the sampling interval? The sampling interval is determined by dividing the capital N divided by the small n. That is, the capital N means the population size and the small n means the sample size. So here we have the population size as 300 and the sample size is 100. So what will be the sampling interval? Sampling interval means nothing but based on what interval we are going to choose the next person. Okay. So here the sampling interval will be 3. Suppose we are starting with the second person. And here the sampling interval is 3. So who will be the next person? The nth one. Here it is the third one. The nth one means the third one. So 1. This is the second person. 1, 2, and 3. So fifth one will be the next sample. And who will be the next? Then 6. 6 we can count it as 1, 2, and 3. So 8 will be the next person. So that is the nth person. I think systematic random sampling is clear for you. In simple random sampling, we are just making a blind selection. We are randomly choosing certain samples from a population, like tossing a coin, throwing a dice. A lottery method is example for simple random sampling. While in the case of systematic sampling, we choose every nth person. We will start from any person, and that any person is the interest of the researcher, and the difference or the gap between the succeeding persons is called the sampling interval. How do we get the sampling interval? Sampling interval is got by dividing the population size by the sample size. The population size is denoted by capital N and the sample size is denoted by small n. I repeat, in this example, we are taking the population size as 300 and the sample size as 100. When the capital N is divided by the small n, that is 300 by 100, we will get the n value or the sampling interval as 3. And in this research, we are going to pick the second person at first, and the nth person, which is the third person, will be the fifth one, and the next person will be the 8th one, and then the 11th one, etc. So I think that's clear. Do not mistaken it with the. Do not think that sampling interval. In sampling interval, there must be a n number of gap. It's not n number of gap. It's the nth person that we are choosing. It's not 3 members should be in between. It's the third person that we are choosing. Okay. Do not get confused in that. So I think simple random sampling and the systematic random sampling is clear for you. Okay, is it okay? Somebody please respond. Is that clear? Or should I need to repeat it again? Okay, okay, Sudhi, okay, Junaid, okay, Hannah. Okay, I think it's clear. Now we are going to the next one, that is the stratified sampling. Okay. What do you mean by a strata? In stratified sampling, we must remember the term. A strata means homogeneous groups. And what is this homogeneous groups? A group that have similarities. What is the basis of this homogeneous groups? On what basis we choose this strata? This strata is based on the area of the researcher. That is the researcher's judgment that makes the strata. Okay, I will tell you an example. Suppose we are going to study the economic condition of villagers in certain village. Okay. We will divide the villagers into 3 groups, such as those who are too low in financial condition, those who are moderate in financial condition, and those who are high in financial condition. So we divide it into 3. These are called homogeneous groups, groups based on similarity, or we call it as stratas, different stratas. Now from these stratas, we will choose our samples. Okay, samples will be selected from these stratas. So that is the meaning of stratified random sampling. Here also, everybody have equal chance of being selected. Okay, so keep this term in mind. Stratas are homogeneous groups. There were questions that directly asked it as homogeneous groups, or from examples also you can understand that it's the stratified sampling that they mean. So keep this in mind that strata means homogeneous groups, and we conduct a study like this. I think stratified random sampling is also clear for you. Keep the example of these villagers and the economic study in mind. Okay. Next, now we have the cluster sampling. See, it's easy to get confused between the stratified sampling and the cluster sampling. In stratified sampling, we have the term homogeneous groups or the strata, whereas in cluster sampling, we have the term that naturally existing clusters. Naturally existing clusters. Here the researcher is not directly making any groups. The clusters or the groups exist naturally. Like this. Take an example of, suppose we are conducting a study in different, study in the whole state of Kerala or any state. Different districts of a state are different clusters. That is, they are naturally existing. These districts are not created, or it's not for the purpose of any research or nothing. So these are naturally existing clusters. From these clusters, we will then choose our samples through simple random sampling or systematic random sampling. We can choose it through any blind selection, or like the nth one can be selected. That is the systematic random sampling. So under cluster sampling, we have the term naturally existing clusters, that is not made by the researcher, whereas in stratified sampling, the groups or the homogeneous groups, based on the similarities, the groups are made by the researcher based on his judgments or his logical thinking. Okay, so do not get confused between stratified sampling and cluster sampling. Keep these two terms in mind. In stratified, we have homogeneous groups, and in cluster, we have naturally existing clusters. That terms are sufficient, I think. So that are the types of probability sampling. I think that's clear. And if you have any doubts, or is there any areas that I should repeat, you can tell it in the comment box, or else we will be moving to the non-probability sampling technique. Okay. Now, what is this non-probability sampling technique? As the name suggests, in non-probability sampling technique, all the members of the population do not have equal chance of being selected. That is, it is not a random selection. It is based on the personal viewpoint or the logical thoughts of the researcher, based on the researcher's judgment that the samples will be selected in non-probability sampling. Under non-probability sampling, all the members of the population do not have equal chance of being selected. Now, what are the types of non-probability sampling? It includes convenient sampling, purposive sampling, and quota sampling. Now let's see in detail. What is convenient sampling? As the name suggests, it is based on the convenience of the researcher. It's based on the easy availability of the researcher. When the researcher is not taking any much risk to get the sample, we can call it as convenient sampling. Okay, without any additional requirements also. Suppose I am conducting a research study in the average intelligence of youngsters. And what will I do? I will just go and conduct an intelligence test in my colleagues of Aifer Education. Okay, so now in this case, I'm not going out of this Aifer Education, and I will just conduct my study in them. So what is that? It's just based on my convenience. I'm not going outside. I'm not taking any additional risk. It's based on my easily availability that I will be conducting my study in my colleagues. Okay, so that is convenience sampling. It's in the term, it's from the term itself, we can understand what is a convenience sampling is based on the convenience of the researcher. Next, we have purposive sampling. Purposive, how does a purposive sampling differs from convenient sampling? Under purposive sampling, it has a purpose, the researcher's purpose. It's nothing but purposive sampling is made on the basis of the judgment of a researcher. Okay, based on any particular logical or any strict thoughts of the researcher, we choose a purposive sampling. Suppose the researcher is interested in any particular people or any gifted or other types of people, it's completely based on the judgment of the researcher. Okay, it's also called judgmental sampling. It's also called as judgmental sampling. Okay, so purposive sampling is based on the judgments or the logical thought of the researcher. Purposive sampling is also called judgmental sampling. I think purposive sampling is also clear. Now we have the next one, that is quota sampling. Quota sampling is another non-probability sampling. In quota sampling, we will choose representative. We must remember the term that representative members. How will our samples be? Our samples will be representative members of a population. We will not choose everybody. They will be representatives. Like suppose we are conducting, a cigarette company is conducting a study in certain smokers, that which brand of cigarette do they prefer more. Under that, we are choosing certain representatives on a certain basis. How? We are choosing members from aged 21 to 30 years, or from 31 to 40 years, 41 to 50 years, etc. So these are representative members from smokers. So if we are choosing certain representative members from a population, it is called quota sampling, or it's called quota sampling. Okay. I think quota sampling is clear for you. It's simple. We will just choose the representative members from a population. Now we have the last one, that is snowball sampling. The term snowball itself explains this sampling technique. Just imagine a snowball. It keeps rolling. This type of snowball sampling is generally used when our samples are very difficult to reach. Suppose we are going to study the drug abusers of Kerala state or something. If we go and ask them directly that, are you a drug abuser? Can you conduct in my study? It might not be successful. In most cases, they might not be willing to say that I'm a drug abuser and I'm willing for your study and all. So in that case, what will we do? We will find a particular drug abuser. We accompany them. We just become close friends, and that if that person is willing for our survey, we will make him do our survey or make him complete our questionnaire. And next, we will use him. He will be going to the next person and he will give the questionnaire to that person. He can easily find a drug abuser, another drug abuser. Okay, like that, it will go like a rolling snowball. Okay, so snowball sampling is used when our samples are very difficult to reach. You can consider this drug abusers as an example. It's simple. I think you understand what a snowball sampling is. So these are the sampling methods, probability as well as non-probability sampling. In probability, each and every members of the population has equal chance to be selected. In non-probability, each and every members do not have equal chance to be selected. Simple random sampling is a blind random sampling. It's you can consider tossing a coin and throwing a dice, lottery method, etc. as examples. It's a blind selection, random selection. As the name suggests, it's simple random sampling. In systematic random sampling, remember the term nth member. You must keep it like nth member. Do not tell it as a sample interval is n and all, because you will confuse it. You might take the difference as n. It's the nth member we are choosing. Nth member, that is systematic sampling. Then in stratified sampling, that are homogeneous groups that the researcher creates, and in cluster sampling we are choosing the naturally existing clusters. And while coming to non-probability sampling, we have convenience sampling based on the convenience of the researcher. Suppose I am conducting a study, I will choose my samples as the colleagues of Aifer Education. And in purposive sampling is also called judgmental sampling. It's based on the judgment of the researcher. And we have quota sampling. Representative members of the population is chosen for sampling. And snowball sampling, it's like a rolling snowball. It's used generally when the samples are difficult to reach. We will get the next sample like a rolling snowball. So I think different sampling methods are clear for you. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section, or at least you can tell that that area is clear or not. Anyway, we are going to the next stage of research, that is the data collection stage. We collect the data after deciding the sampling technique or doing the sampling process. We are going for data collection. How data can be collected in two ways, that is primary data as well as secondary data. Now, what is the primary data? Primary data is also called first-hand data. That is, if I am the researcher, I will directly collect the data from samples using surveys, interviews, or experiments. I am directly conducting the research. That is primary data, as the name suggests. Then secondary data means I do not collect it directly. Instead, I use the previously conducted researches or previously existing data for my research process. So that's it, secondary data, primary and secondary data. I think that's clear. Then we have different data collection methods in quantitative research like tests, questionnaires, schedules, checklists, etc. That we will discuss in detail in a different session. And also there are data collection methods in qualitative research such as interviews, focus groups, observation, etc. That also requires a separate session for discussion. And finally, after once the data collection is over, now we are going for the analysis of that data or the testing of our hypothesis, which we stated at the beginning of our research. What is? We analyze it statistically, or if it is a qualitative research, we might analyze it using an expert or not. There are different data analysis techniques such as ANOVA, t-test, etc. So that also requires a separate session. We will be doing that session separately. Okay, now I think it's time for the discussion of certain questions. These are simple questions. Before that, I make you remember once again to subscribe our channel of Aifer Education. Okay, anyway, we are going to questions. First one is that in which one of the sampling methods units comprising its constituents are groups taken intact rather than individually. That is, groups are intact. Means what? Groups are naturally existing. It's inside. Means the answer will be, can you tell me the answer? Anybody? Okay. Anyway, the answer is A. As I told you, it's cluster sampling method. Okay. Okay, Hannah, you are correct. Answer is A. Yes, Junaid. Yes, Febin. Answer is correct. Next, we have match the following question. Please answer it quickly during the time I'm reading the question. We have, in one area, we have options like simple random sampling, systematic sampling, dimensional sampling, snowball sampling. And in the next side we have the units are identified in terms of various specific features identified before drawing a sample structure. Second one, each unit is given an equal independent chance of being picked. We know it easily that it is simple random sampling. Then the K interval is obtained by N by N, capital N by small n, and the units are drawn using same where N is population size and small n is desired sample size. What is it? Nth one we are choosing. It's systematic sampling. Yes, the right answer is coming by Junaid. It's correct. Then we have dimensional sampling. That one I think we did not discuss. Anyway, we have snowball sampling, which is the first member unit is used to identify the second unit and so on. Then dimensional sampling, we have the units are identified in terms of various specific features identified before drawing a sample. So the answer is option B. All of you have said the right answer. So here is the next question and the last question. Please answer it quickly. Identify sampling procedures in which units are chosen, giving an equal and independent chance. See, equal and independent chance, we know that it is probability sampling, which and all will be included. Definitely, there will be stratified sampling, there will be random sampling procedure, and there will be systematic sampling. So B, D, and E. We know that quota sampling will definitely will not be there. So the answer will be B, D, and E. It's not 8, it's actually B. B, D, and E. So the fourth one will be the right answer. These are certain questions that are asked for the previous year UGC NET examination in paper 1. I think it's time to end our session. If you have any doubts in any areas, you can ask it. And before ending the session, I want to make you remember once again to subscribe our channel, Aifer Education. It will be very useful for you in your UGC NET examination. And in the next session, we will be discussing about reliability and validity in research, which is also a very important area in research aptitude. I think the topics that we discussed today is clear for you. Anyway, thank you all guys. Thank you so much.